The investigation began in the early morning hours of March 25, 2015, when a passerby found the severely injured 18-year-old on Cedar Villa Estates Road on the outskirts of Saskatoon.
Valley Road runs along the southern edge of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. It is a quiet, largely empty stretch of pavement near the city landfill, not the kind of road anyone walks along at night. On the morning of March 25, 2015, a motorist travelling that road noticed something at the roadside and stopped. A young woman, face up, no shoes, cold to the touch. Saskatoon Police Service arrived and confirmed she was deceased. Scattered nearby were a leather jacket, a watch, and a black wide-webbed belt. The belt was not on the body. It had been left beside her, in the dirt, at the side of the road. Police had no identification for the woman. They photographed her tattoos and released the images publicly in the hope someone would recognize her. Within hours, she was identified as Brittney Jane Gargol. She was 18 years old. Gargol was a senior at her Saskatoon high school, weeks away from graduation. She worked 2 jobs, one at a local pizzeria, one at the German-Canadian Concordia Club. She had been raised by her grandmother and had a half-sister who was 5 years old. The cause of death had not yet been confirmed. That answer would come within days. And when it did, it pointed investigators in a very specific direction. The post-mortem examination confirmed that Brittney Gargol died from strangulation. The black wide-webbed belt recovered at the scene was identified as the instrument used. Forensic analysis of the belt produced 2 DNA profiles. One matched Gargol. The second belonged to an unknown individual. Investigators turned to Gargol's social media to reconstruct her final hours. Her Facebook account showed she had been active on the evening of March 24th. She had been out. Then investigators found something unsettling. Among the posts on Gargol's Facebook wall, made after she was already dead, was a message from Cheyenne, who had been with her that night. The message asked where Brittney was. It said the person hadn't heard from her. It wished her a safe journey home. Brittney Gargol was already lying on Valley Road when that message was posted. Police located and interviewed the person who had sent that message, a young woman who said she had spent the evening with Gargol. She gave investigators a detailed account of the night. According to that account, the 2 of them had gone out together on the evening of March 24th. They visited the Manchester pub. They then moved on to a second venue, the Colonial Pub and Grill. At some point in the night, Brittney met an unknown man and left with him. The friend went home alone and had no further information. Investigators began working through the account. They obtained security footage from the Manchester pub. The footage confirmed that both women had been present. The story held up to that point. They then contacted the Colonial Pub and Grill. Detectives reviewed every frame of security footage from the Colonial Pub and Grill covering the evening of March 24th into the early morning hours of March 25th. Neither Brittney Gargol nor her companion appeared anywhere in the footage. Not at the entrance. Not at the bar. Not on any camera inside the building. Senior Crown Prosecutor Robin Ritter would later state plainly in court, the visit to the Colonial Pub and Grill, as described, had never happened. The account had a serious problem, and it was not the only one.
Accept what happens and really hope for the best. Best outcome for the family and the friends. And just knowing that she's not suffering anymore and in a better place, I think is a good thing. And that she's probably in a better place than where this world is today. It's scary out there. Can't even go over to a house party, can't go out anywhere without something happening, especially in the city. In my eyes, the city's become a thug town. And you have to be very careful at what you do and where you go. And this is one lesson. Unfortunately, it's a hard lesson, but it's a lesson to show, tell the world, look, you really need to be careful out there. This could be
one of Brittney's friend. Cheyenne had also told police that after separating from Gargol, she spent part of the night visiting a relative at a local assisted living facility. Investigators pulled security footage from that facility as well. Cheyenne did not appear in that footage either. On May 3rd, 2015, while Cheyenne was in custody on an unrelated shoplifting charge, detectives brought her in for another interview. Faced with the CCTV results, she declined to provide any additional information about the night Brittney died. Police had 2 disproven alibis. They had an unknown DNA profile on the murder weapon. but they had no physical evidence connecting the friend directly to the scene. There was not yet enough to proceed with a charge. The case remained open. Months passed. No arrest was made. As time passed, a new version of events began to take shape. In this account, Brittney Gargol and Cheyenne had not been alone that night. 2 unidentified men had been with them. These men, according to the account, were responsible for Gargol's death. The friend had been present, but had been too frightened to come forward. Police investigated every part of this new story. They found no evidence to support it. No witnesses, no CCTV, no names, nothing. They also re-interviewed the relative at the assisted living facility, the person who had originally confirmed the friend's alibi for that part of the evening. This time, faced with the security footage, the relative admitted the truth. His niece had asked him to lie to police. The alibi had been fabricated. 2 accounts, both disproven. 1 fabricated alibi, confirmed by the person who told it. Investigators were now looking at a person who had lied to police, had arranged for a family member to lie on her behalf, and whose DNA profile was still unidentified on the murder weapon. Throughout the investigation, detectives had been building a minute-by-minute reconstruction of Gargol's final evening using her Facebook activity. As part of that work, they were reviewing every post, every photo, every timestamp from the night of March 24th. During that review, they found a photograph that would change everything. It was a selfie. Posted to Facebook on the evening of March 24th, 2015, just hours before Brittney Gargol's body was found on Valley Road. It showed Brittney and Cheyenne together, smiling into the camera, captured in what looked like the start of a night out. It was one of the last photographs taken of Brittney Gargol while she was alive. When investigators re-examined a Facebook selfie taken the night Brittney Gargol disappeared, they noticed a crucial detail. In the photo, her friend Cheyenne Rose Antoine was standing beside Brittney Gargol with a distinctive belt around her waist. The weave pattern, the width, the color, all consistent. Police later realized that the belt looked exactly like the one discovered near the crime scene where Brittney's body was found. This discovery raised serious suspicion. Prosecutor Robin Ritter also noted that marks found on the interior of Gargol's car were consistent with the same belt, suggesting a violent struggle had taken place inside the vehicle. Sergeant Ernie Loutit of Saskatoon Police Service would later describe the moment in unforgettable terms. The key piece of evidence was sitting in a photograph on Facebook. Forensic testing on the belt reportedly revealed that the DNA matched with Cheyenne. The two had grown up in the same city. They had been close friends. They had gone out together that evening, taken a selfie together, and posted it to Facebook. By the time the sun came up the next morning, one of them was dead, and the other was online, asking where she had gone. In March 2017, Saskatoon police arrested Cheyenne Rose Antoine and charged her with second-degree murder and causing an indignity to a body. Following her arrest, Cheyenne was interrogated. She provided a third account, the first time she had described what actually happened that night. According to this account, Cheyenne and Gargol had attended a house party. Both had been drinking and had used marijuana. An argument broke out between the two. Cheyenne stated that she hit Gargol and then strangled her. Cheyenne told investigators she had no memory of the act of strangling Brittney. She did not, however, dispute that she had done it. A witness told police that Cheyenne had appeared at their door in the early hours of March 25th, distressed, intoxicated, and saying she had hurt Brittney. That she had strangled her.
Dignity's body.
The night of partying and drinking began with these two friends posing for this Facebook photo. It ended in tragedy, with Brittney Gargol's body found on this stretch of rural road outside of Saskatoon. At first, police didn't have much to go on. They didn't even really know who Gargol was. But this photo proved instrumental.
Cheyenne Antoine wore a baggy hooded jacket during the proceedings, at times using the long sleeves to cover her face. The 20-year-old is charged with second-degree murder in the death of Brittney Gargol. The victim's family and friends wept in the courtroom as the charges were read.
We're so grateful, and so thankful for the investigators that have
that have been working on this for almost 2 years never gave up hope, because it was very hard for us at times to keep that hope up. Yeah, the details are not going to be pretty. I'm raising her 7-year-old sister who has a lot of questions and doesn't understand, so that's difficult. Brittney was very happy, joyful. She loved her family. She has 4 younger sisters. She loved her friends. She spent as much time with them as she could. She was a wonderful person whose life was cut short, and it's not fair.
Nearly 6 months later, the accused commented on the post, recounting a dream she had of the deceased teen, saying in part, "Woke up with tears in my eyes. I'm blessed to have met you and have you be a part of my life." Antoine's message concludes with, "Rest in paradise, my angel." Along with the murder charge, the former friend is accused of causing an indignity to a body. Antoine has several outstanding court matters, recently being found guilty of assault and uttering threats in a December incident. Meanwhile, Gargol's family is remembering her as a happy grade 12 student who loved her 4 younger sisters. When Antoine's appearance concluded, she put her hood up and walked out of the prisoner's box. She will remain in custody and is due back in court Friday. Ryan Kessler, Global News.
I'm just outside Saskatoon Provincial Court here. We have just learned the sentence of a woman who pleaded guilty to causing the death of what court heard was one of her best friends. Brittney Gargol was 18 years old when her body was found just south of Saskatoon near Cedar Villa Estates back in March of 2015. And today, Cheyenne Rose Antoine pleaded guilty to manslaughter in connection to Gargol's death. And the sentence that she received was a joint submission sentence agreed upon by the Crown and Defense, the judge accepting it, meaning that Antoine will serve a 7-year sentence for manslaughter. Now, she was originally charged with second-degree murder, but pleaded guilty to the lesser included offense of manslaughter. And today we learned the facts surrounding this case that was quite mysterious for about 2 years. What she remembers is that they left a house party that night. They were heavily intoxicated, and Antoine says her last memory is of Gargol taking her phone. Cheyenne Antoine actually tried to mislead police in their investigation by saying that she was there that night, but that she had nothing to do with it, that she had left before anything had happened, and kind of tried to almost make it seem like she was looking for her friend as well through Facebook postings. As far as a motive, we just spoke to the defense lawyer who said that this is a case where we will never truly know what caused this woman to kill one of her closest friends, as she just does not remember it happening. However, she does take responsibility for her being the one responsible for this woman's death. At Saskatoon Provincial Court, I'm Bree McAdam with the Saskatoon Star Phoenix.
On January 15, 2018, Cheyenne Rose Antoine appeared before Saskatoon Provincial Court. She was 21 years old. Cheyenne entered a guilty plea to manslaughter, a lesser charge than the original second-degree murder. The Crown and Defence submitted a joint sentencing recommendation. The prosecution acknowledged that no clear premeditated motive could be established. The evidence indicated that the killing occurred during a drunken argument that escalated beyond recovery. The judge sentenced Cheyenne Rose Antoine to 7 years in a Canadian federal penitentiary. The sentence included provisions for mental health treatment. Victim impact statements were read by members of Gargol's family. Gargol's stepmother, Christy Wickenhauser, addressed Cheyenne directly. She said that Brittney had trusted her. She said that Cheyenne could have taken Brittney to a hospital instead of leaving her alone in the dark at the side of a road. Brittney was betrayed by her closest